Welcome to CATEX TV. My name is Frank Fortunato. Today is Monday, June 25th, 2012. Tropical Storm Debbie may be upgraded to a hurricane as early as today. It's currently stalled just off the west coast of Florida by the Florida Panhandle, dumping unrelenting rain on the state, especially in the Panhandle area. Some areas of the Panhandle may get as much as 20 inches of rain today. It's about 90 miles southwest of Apalachiola of the Florida Panhandle, and it's got winds of about 50 to 60 miles an hour. There's only been one death associated with it already when a apparent tornado emanated from the storm struck central Florida. Over the weekend, 5 former executives of AIG and Berkshire Hathaway's Gen Re unit admitted to conducting a fraudulent reinsurance transaction as part of a deal to end a years-long criminal case against them. All 5 entered into a deferred prosecution agreement, meaning their indictments would be dismissed in a year. If they stay out of trouble, they agreed to fines ranging from $100,000 to $250,000. This would be ex-Gen Re CEO Ron Ferguson, the ex-CFO Elizabeth Monrad, Senior VP Chris Garand, and Assistant General Counsel Robert Graham, as well as AIG's Chris Milton. You can't fight City Hall. As Joseph Stalin once told the dissident, the weight of the state cannot be sustained. It was time to probably give up. In Toronto, or a suburb of Toronto yesterday, at least 9 people are still unaccounted for, and at least one is feared dead as crews are slowly digging through the rubble from a collapsed roof at a mall in the northern Ontario community of Elliott Lake. The Algo Centre Mall is the mall in question. Rescuers are reportedly hearing tapping from supposed survivors beneath the rubble, and they're proceeding very slowly so as not to disrupt the pile and possibly injure somebody below. Here's interesting news from Bermuda. John Robinson, who was the founder of Omega, has served a summons instituting proceedings under the Bermuda Companies Act to question the value of the sale of Omega to Canopius. Apparently the sale went through on an all-cash 67 pence a share acquisition, and Mr. Robinson is saying that that's too low. Canopius effectively snorted a little bit, saying the deal is done and settled. Mr. Robinson is exercising a legal right that he has under the Bermuda Companies Act. Aon Benfield is reporting that major industry losses borne by the Lloyd's market last year accounted for about 25.5% of its net premium earned. They also found that Lloyd's share of total losses for the year stood at 6.4% in 2011, higher than the average of 3.9% over the last 15 years. This was due generally to losses being concentrated in areas where Lloyd's is represented. Gross written premiums at Lloyd's rose to £23.5 billion. XL Group announced on Friday afternoon that Lloyd's had granted them approval to write political risk and trade credit risk using the company's Lloyd's Syndicate 1209. Also in the U.S. and Colorado, wildfires continue to run rampant out in Colorado now. They're having their worst wildfire season in a decade. It's emptying hotels and campgrounds ahead of the 4th of July celebration coming up next week. Pikes Peak is apparently alternately shrouded in smoke. That's a big tourist destination as well during the 4th of July break. And in Oklahoma yesterday, out in the Panhandle region, 3 Union Pacific Railroad crew members are still missing after 2 freight trains collided. An eastbound train carrying vehicles and a westbound train crashed at about 10:08 a.m. yesterday near Goodwell, Oklahoma. The size of the train is amazing. 2 locomotives on the 80-car westbound train and a locomotive on the 108-car eastbound train caught fire after the collision. One train was hauling a resin solution, but that load was not yet on fire, according to the firefighters. The blaze was contained by last night, but it still continues to burn today. That's the news for today. If we have any breaking news, we'll come back and tell you. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.